y'all to Speaking with Gravity.
Yes.
I am your host, Joshua Williams.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tana Williams.
And Terrence Dawkins.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so we're back, y'all, with episode 10. This is the final episode of the 8th season. Teardrop. So it's sure to be a fun and engaging, another fun and engaging episode.
Right.
But we appreciate you all for being with us on this journey through our 8th season. So far, it's really special for us three, I think, because this is the first season where we're joining together, right, as the host of Speaking with Gravity. So shout out to Curvin out there, for putting this whole thing together. Shout out to Winston out there, for holding us down behind the scenes. So we're just really grateful and thankful today, y'all. So made it through this season, y'all. How does it feel? How does it feel to make it through this 8th season, y'all? Together.
It's different. It's been a great experience, I think. This is my first time ever being a host on a podcast or anything like that. But I definitely can see a lot of growth from all of us. But I like the relationship that we started to build and started each time. Each episode it seemed like we started to come together a little bit more. So I really like that.
Yeah, I really value how we interact just as a unit. We all bring different perspectives to the table, and we're able to collaborate and come together and just have an engaging conversation. That's really what Speaking with Gravity comes down to, just having an engaging conversation where we're all able to learn. So I'm appreciative for that.
Beautiful. Now, did you feel like you survived this season, or did you feel like you grew through this season? You thrived.
Okay.
Thrived.
Beautiful. Because that's what we're going to talk about today, right? The difference in survival versus resilience. Beautiful. So you said it, thriving and not just surviving, right?
Right.
So for me, y'all, when we talk about survival versus resilience, to me, it's like going through it versus growing through it, right? Survival to me is I'm going through it, I'm going through this thing, and resilience is I'm building strength as I'm going along. How about for y'all? When you think about that topic, right? Survival versus resilience, what comes to mind immediately for y'all?
When I think about survival versus resilience, I think about just meeting the bare minimum needs in our life, which is survival. We do what we have to survive, to eat, to pay our bills. It is the bare minimum. When I think about resilience, I think about growing outside of that bubble or growing outside of that limitation that we've set for ourselves, and we're able to grow, we're able to thrive, and like you said, we're able to learn new coping skills just to grow as an individual.
I think of survival mode, right? It's just doing things so I can get by, or doing things in order to make sure that I could continue, living ultimately, but not necessarily enjoying it or not necessarily growing from it. Doing it because I have to, versus resilience, which is going through something and then, like you said, learning and growing from it and coming out on the other end with new skills and new behaviors and things like that. I feel like when we survive, we gain new skills, but it might not be skills that ultimately benefit us.
That makes me think of some reframing that I think it was Steve Harvey said one time. He went to work every day and he was upset about the work he was doing, and he was like, dang, I have to work, versus reframing and him saying I have to work is meeting those survival needs. Reframing, we may be in the same predicament. Nothing in our situation has changed, but we can reframe how we think about our situation so that we can enter that place of resilience and thriving. So instead of saying I have to work, he started saying I get to work. I get a chance to provide for my family. I get a chance to wake up and interact with people outside of my household. So just that reframing process, even if we're in the same predicament in life and nothing else has changed, we don't have to be in that survival mode mentality.
So it's a mindset. It's a mind thing.
It's most of reframing from survival mode and entering thriving mode is all about reframing and changing your mentality on things. There are also physical aspects to that as well, but a lot of it is mental.
So what are the different ways that I guess people, those two different people approach their challenges, right? Or approach life? A survival-focused person versus a resilient person. What are some ways that they approach life or approach their challenges differently.
I think a person that's surviving can still build resiliency. So I don't think it's like one or the other. You might just be at a different stage, right? So you could be a person that was surviving, and next thing you know, you've made some type of change. So now you're enjoying life, and you've come out and gained these new skills. Now you've been resilient, right? Now you have resiliency. So I think it's probably like different stages instead of two distinct things.
Can people stay stuck in survival mode, though?
They can, and that is detrimental, I can tell you, because staying and stuck in survival mode, then that could cause problems for medical issues, right? Not just psychological issues, but, when I say medical issues, so health problems such as, high blood pressure, diabetes, lung disease or lung issues or stomach issues as well. So it really, staying in survival mode, literally in survival mode, because your body responds that way, can cause health problems, not just psychological problems.
What can I ask you this? What might have somebody stuck in survival mode or motivate somebody to stay in survival mode and never get to that mode of resilience?
Yeah, so one thing I can think of is that they're just comfortable with where they are in life. They're complacent. They have no need or no motivation to grow. I talked to one person a couple years back, and we were talking about him seeking therapy, and he was like, I'm good where I'm at.
I bet you were like,
well, are you? Because you just had an outburst. You just started an argument with 3 different people within the same day. Are you good where you at? I'm great. They're not able to enter. They're not able to change. They're not willing to change. So you can't be complacent in just meeting your bare minimum needs. But also, a person has to have a mentality to want to change and to want to just explore what else out there is available. How can I grow as a person? And like I said, some people just get complacent.
You can always be growing. There's always room for growth and improvement, right? I honestly feel like that. So I'm always looking for ways to grow. Or maybe I'm not always looking for it. Maybe they just come to me, right? Or maybe I see challenges as a way to grow. Yeah. I don't know what it is. But either way, I always see ways that I can grow.
And that's good.
I think something else that another factor that determines whether a person is in survival mode or if they're thriving is their ability to adapt. So as we mentioned, always change is constant, and our ability to adapt to a situation can determine how well we're able to survive. So if a person in survival mode, they may think that, okay, this situation right now will literally make or break me. I don't want to be broken, so I'm going to just stay complacent. Compared to a person that may have already entered or is healthier and is in a state of resilience, they're able to understand this situation may break me, but I'm able to rise up. It may make me into a better person. Am I willing to take that risk? And most people that have a level of resilience, they're able to make decisions and take risks because they're more equipped with the tools and the support in case they break or fall down.
Definitely. I think.
No, you ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I think you got to get yourself ready. Because I was gonna ask the question, how do we work on adapting? But I think it's. I think you just got to get yourself in the mindset that what you have right now might not be able to solve all the challenges, all the problems that come up. Right. It may be some additional things, right, that you have to learn, right? Some flexibility involved on your end, right, for you to solve the problems of tomorrow. Sure, the problems of today or yesterday, they might have, what you had might have been sufficient for them. But for what's coming, you don't know what's coming, right? And so being in the mind frame, being in the mindset, right, where just knowing that I may need something else. I may need some more fortitude, some more strength. I may need a little more growth on my end, right? You
go ahead.
Being that person to make that change can be difficult because when we're thinking about survival mode, we're not only just thinking about survival mode for yourself. Sometimes you're in survival mode and your entire family is depending on you to make a decision And that comes with a lot of pressure. That comes with a lot of stress. So being in survival mode is just not an identity of just yourself. Your decisions can impact more than one person. So I think that brings some type of element of, okay, am I ready for change? What risk or what reward will this change, get me? What am I able to earn from learning how to be more resilient?
I don't know if folks out there can hear that heater, but that heater's down there surviving, ain't it?
Surviving, thriving.
Look, them what's going on. And all, boy.
I'm thriving with this heat, though.
Listen. But yeah.
And then something else I want to mention is that, and this is just me speaking personally, when I was in survival mode, I had to make a lot of decisions that I didn't necessarily want to make. I was just operating in survival mode, and a lot of those decisions had some consequences. And just with me speaking to my therapist, she said that we have to forgive ourselves for what we did in survival mode. So as we grow and as we become this resilient person, we can't judge the person we used to be. And more importantly, we can't judge someone that is still in a state of survival mode. We're supposed to be there as role models to show, hey, once you build this level of resilience, I still struggle with challenges. I still have traumatic experiences. I still have family issues, but I'm more equipped to deal with those issues so that I don't wear my emotions on my sleeve. You can't see everything I've gone through or everything I'm dealing with, but I do have to forgive myself for the decisions I made while I was in survival mode, because those decisions might still impact me to this day.
Yeah, a lot of times they do. And let me reach back and build somebody else up.
Right.
If I
Pay
can.
it forward.
If I can do it, yeah.
And another thing about talking about survival mode versus resilience is that, and this is just me speaking personally, something I had to do was re-enter my feminine energy. And this is something I researched and I looked into, is that when I was in survival mode as a woman, I was operating in a masculine mentality just to survive. And I'll even, for those that don't know the difference between masculine energy and feminine energy is more nurturing, more open to receive, more flowing, and more flowing. So even being open to being receptive, I wasn't vulnerable during a certain stage in my life. When I was in survival mode, I wasn't open to help. I wasn't open to people, here's $20 to go eat. Oh, no, I'm good. I wasn't open. I wasn't receptive. So I had to get out of that masculine mentality that, hey, I got it by myself. I can do everything by myself. And I had to re-enter that feminine energy. For men, or for people that represent as masculine presenting, masculine energy is more rational, more protective, more structured, more linear. So if you as a man, you find yourself thinking, oh, somebody's just going to bring it to me, the opportunities are there, but I'm not going to go look for it, you're not operating in your masculine energy. So in order to get out of survival mode, my tip is just operate in the energy that you were born with, Operate in your feminine energy. Tap back into that feminine energy. As a man, tap back into that masculine energy and see how much you just thrive naturally.
I like that, huh? Can the others, say if I'm a man, can feminine energy be, some of it, I guess, be good for me too?
That's a good perspective and a good question. And the answer to that is that we have to have energies of both masculine and feminine energy. So a man has to be nurturing to an extent. They have to know how to nurture. They have to know how to be vulnerable to an extent. But in general, you still have to operate logically.
Okay.
So yeah. We have characteristics of masculine energies and feminine energy, but like I said, in my experience, I was operating too much in a masculine mentality, and it showed.
To me, I was thinking about survival versus resilience. Y'all know I write stuff down sometimes. Terrence,
I know.
Terrence said,
I love it.
When you are a survivor, I feel like everyone pities you, but when you are resilient, people may not even know that you've gone through anything.
Ooh, you wrote that too?
I wrote that, man.
See, I'm telling you, be dropping them.
Say that one more time.
Sometimes I have to write it because I'll forget this stuff too, right? But I said, when you are a survivor, everyone pities you. Maybe not everyone, but That sometimes that's the type of
response.
Yeah. When you're a survivor, everyone pities you. When you are resilient, people may not even know that you've gone through anything, right? Because you have this strength, this fortitude built up. Anybody can survive, but not everyone can come out more powerful. Not everyone can come out more powerful. So it's about what you are gaining through your experiences, y'all. I think it's so important. You know, we build patience a lot of times through our experiences. We build fortitude. We we learn things, right, that we can put into our relationships with others, right? So that we can understand other people, right?
Yeah, I just want to feedback off of that some.
Take from it. Yeah, yes, ma'am. Please.
So I like that quote that you said, and I like the fact that you wrote it down and expressed that to us. And what I got out of that is that becoming resilient doesn't come with a badge of honor. It doesn't come with a trophy, and like you said, it more so comes with being able to have the tools to navigate through life in a healthy way. And what I thought about is that even though building resilience doesn't come with a badge of honor, we don't necessarily have to validate that with other people. You know, when you're in survival mode, you do get more pity and more sympathy from people. But what are you seeking? Are you seeking that to feel okay? Oh, I know you. I know you're not going through. I know you're going through a tough time right now. You're barely meeting ends meet. Are you okay, sugar? What is that going to do for you? You know, what type of validation are you seeking compared to somebody that is resilient and is able to go through those battles in life? And we're not saying alone, but still able to conquer those battles in life. It doesn't come with a badge of honor, and it doesn't come with somebody validating that, you know, either. It's all about self-empowerment.
That's it.
And I always said that's the only people we need. Like, of course we need other people in our lives, but in order to heal, we got to start looking internally instead of externally. So you need yourself in order to heal, and other people are not going to be able to heal you. So yes, when you looking to be resilient, is that like, okay, I'm going to be resilient. I'm going to work towards this. I'm going to come out on the other side. I'm not just going to sit here and continue to struggle and just be in survival mode. So it's like you need yourself in order to do these things, and you have to take that action to get there.
Do you all have any stories, whether personal or like working with other people, of stories of survival or being resilient?
Not to get too specific, but in the situation I was in, where I felt like I was surviving, I went from surviving to, I guess, thriving or being resilient. When I felt like I was surviving, I would feel good about my response to my trial over time. And then when it got hard again, I would get discouraged.
Roller coaster.
Right. I was just surviving. But when I became resilient, I had built up some encouragement, built up some strength. I discovered things spiritually and mentally and emotionally about myself that were more than just tips and strategies to get through. A lot of times when we're surviving, or when I was surviving, I was just looking for a way through. Just looking for a tip, anything, a quote of the day, right? But becoming more resilient, I had built something internally, wasn't looking for anything externally. I had built some things up internally, thank the Lord, that kept me, right? And so I wasn't looking for external things. I was knowing, right, being confident that what I had built up, that I would be able to go through it and to grow through it. I was more confident in that. So I wasn't looking for things all the time. And those internal things that I built up, it's kind of like a foundation, right? Building onto your character. So they were character traits that I built up, not little tips and things that I was getting from everywhere, but actually building myself up, building the house, not just putting new furniture in it,
right,
and hoping that it
looked good,
hoping about it looking good, but actually building the house up, a house on a much better foundation. So maybe not really speaking specifically, but yeah, that's my experience though.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback. And I just wanted to highlight how you said that you added the element of spirituality and tapping into a higher power. What I've seen with my own personal experience, as well as the experiences around me, is that when it comes to our mental health and coming out of survival mode and entering a state of resilience, is that we need something else to help us do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes from our internal sources, but we also need support from others. And one big support can be your religion, or it can be your spirituality, looking forward to something higher than you, looking forward or depending on something that you can't physically see. I think that can build, and in my personal experience, that has built a level of resilience, just being able to depend on something that is not physical.
Yeah. And I don't think you can, like, in order to survive, I don't think you can, in order to build resiliency, I think you have to surround yourself with people. It's harder to do it on your own, and when you're on your own, that's when you can probably get stuck in that survival mode. But when you surround yourself with a good support system, then that's when you start to build. They encourage you, and that's when you start to become resilient because they are pushing you. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to push yourself when you're living in survival mode almost all your life. That's all you know. But when somebody comes by and show you something different, now I know different.
Yes, sir.
So let me move towards that.
That's what it's about. Yeah.
You mentioned something important, living in survival mode your entire life. And I want to go back to the point I made before, is that we can be very comfortable in survival mode simply because that's sometimes all a person has ever known is survival mode. So I don't want to offend people by saying, like, it's easy to tap outside of survival mode, because it's not easy at all. You have to do it with intention and purpose. And like you said, reaching out to your community, but it's not easy at all. It's meaningful. And on the other side, where they say the grass is greener on the other side, it is greener outside of survival mode, but the process of getting there is difficult.
Man, get with some people who done it, because it is gonna be difficult.
It is.
It's gonna be difficult getting out. If you've been in that your whole life, that's how you get through things. You don't know no other way. It's gonna be scary. It's gonna be a void there. Get with you some good people, like Terrence is saying. Some people who've been through it, who's made that change. Who look at life, from a different aspect, from an aspect of growth and growing in your challenges, right?
So I have a question before we go to the next phase of the conversation. Do you all think it is possible for a person to be too resilient?
I don't know. That's a good
I
question.
think, so when you say too resilient, it just makes me think maybe it'll dip over into something else, like arrogance or like something else.
Depending so much on themselves. I picked myself up from being in poverty. I'm the black sheep of my family, and I'm the breadwinner. Do you feel like a person can be too resilient that comes with that level of arrogance?
Oh man, I feel like you never want to take all the glory for anything that goes on in your life. Maybe good or bad, but definitely good. You never want to take all the glory. I think I think it's so much that happens in between. You becoming who you are, you becoming that person. Some things happen outside of your control. You might think it's all you, but it's a lot of things that happen that's outside of your control. So you want to be very careful about that. Not doing it, not taking all the glory, because whatever's happening outside your control, you want to continue to get those blessings.
Yeah.
So you don't want to try to acknowledge that it's all on you. You gotta be very careful with that. So you gotta check yourself then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, to piggyback off that, I feel like going back to the community and support system, I feel like a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, I did it on my own," but if you really truly looked at it, you probably didn't. Somebody helped.
Somebody.
Like, okay, I got this job on my own. You had to have somebody hire you, didn't you? You didn't get it on your own. You had a boss, or you had an interview, right? Yeah, and yes, you did well in the interview, and they said, "Hey, I want you here at this job." But guess what? That person that gave you the job, they helped you by giving you the job. So I feel like doing that inside work, letting people trying to understand that, yes, I've done a lot of work by myself, but there was someone there that helped me along the way to get where I'm at. Correct. So you probably didn't do it alone. And that's not to take away anything from anybody and what they accomplished in life, but there is still someone there that helped you get there.
And just a little background about why I asked that is that when we talk about the stereotype of the strong Black woman, what comes with that is often the trait of being super strong, super resilient. So is that a bad thing? And that was my context. Is it a bad thing, or can someone be too resilient in the sense that nothing affects them?
Oh man, I just think you gotta be careful. But I love it. Cause I see that a lot, and a lot of those women, I feel like they warrant that respect. They should get that respect, right? Cause they have because they exhibited that strength. They was willing to exhibit that strength, which is so important. That's part of it. But then another part of it, I feel like you got to acknowledge other parts of parts of it is you blessed too. Some kind of favor, some kind of fortune has worked for you, right? So, before you just take all that glory, just continue to do what you've been doing.
Right.
Just continue. You don't have to take it all now. Now, sometimes, to build your confidence up, you may have to encourage yourself like, yes, I did. Yes. No, but also acknowledge those things outside of you, I feel like that have helped to lead you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that someone can be too resilient, but I feel like if we enter a phase where we are resilient in life, we're able to share that with others. We're able to be role models and say, hey, I see your, life is really lifing right now for you. Yeah. Let me offer you some of my resilience. Let me share with you how I went through this situation, or what do you need in your situation, and how can I, as a person that has gone through a similar situation, how can I help you? So, like I said, when we get through to that level of being resilient in life, we have to pay it forward and help others around us get out of survival mode.
Yep.
I love it. What you thinking over there, Tim?
The survival mode is just really getting to me. Well, I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me why, please.
It's because when I think about all the people that have lived in survival mode most of their lives, and that's all that they know. And then I think about the health issues that go on in the Black community as well.
Yes.
And then I think about how people don't understand or don't know how to do better because they were never taught how to do better. And that's why I really enjoy doing this podcast, because like each topic we're giving people little nuggets on how to get to resiliency, right? Whether that's through relationships, whether it's through understanding, the transcending trauma, right? Whether that's understanding the difference between surviving and resiliency. I think, that's why I really enjoy doing this and being a part of this team, because we're in a way making a difference through some of the conversations we're having, with ourselves, but then other people are looking at it and maybe they'll comment, maybe they won't, but we're changing so many lives, and I just really enjoyed that opportunity. So,
yeah, I feel like some great stuff has been said, y'all. Any thoughts that y'all just had, any lingering thoughts? It's a great topic, I feel like we can go on and on. For the people out there watching, I think just be mindful, right, that there's room for growth. Continue to examine yourself, right? You could be in survival mode and not even know it, and you could have built up resilience, right, in one thing, right? But then in other ways, you're just making it through, right? And so continue to look at, I guess, maybe different parts of your life, right?
Yeah, just the feedback off of that. I like what you said, and the strength that we have obtained during one part in our life can transfer or can help us improve in another part of our life. So, for example, if in my career and in my profession, I have this great position and I have this great job, great salary. However, in my home life, I'm not, things are looking a little shady. How can I empower myself through the work that I'm doing in one area of my life? How can I use those similar traits and say, okay, these are traits that I'm using in my workplace. How can I apply them to my family? Or these are traits that I'm using in my workplace and I'm successful here. How do I need to change those traits to be more successful and to accommodate to the family setting? So I like how you said that just because you're resilient in one area of your life, it doesn't always transfer to other areas of your life, but it can.
Yeah, and a lot of those people might need to see your resilience too. You might be really resilient in your career and at work, and then at home, you're just making it through.
Right.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of those people at home, they might need to see that, y'all. They might need to see it. So yeah.
Yeah. You got any last thoughts?
Nah, I think I said mine a minute ago. That was really was sitting on my mind. That like how impactful a simple, like I said before, a conversation could have on so many different lives, and I think people avoid these conversations for different reasons. That could be because of pain. That could be because they don't know how to express themselves, and that can keep them stuck in the where they're at. But showing people with us up here that they can't communicate, or that they don't know how to communicate. Hopefully, they take something from what we said to try to learn how to communicate, and that can change so many lives. So
beautiful.
And I feel like social media can sometimes make it so challenging to acknowledge that you're in survival mode. If you're constantly trying to compare yourself to what someone else has or the lifestyle of somebody else, it can make it difficult to acknowledge what you have in front of you and how you can grow as a person. So just that element of social media, it makes it hard to really understand survival mode versus a person that has resilience.
Beautiful. Detach from social media sometimes. Sometimes that's needed, y'all. Or it's from certain things on social media. Stuff I used to follow, I ain't about to tell y'all all that stuff I used to follow, but stuff I used to follow, I don't follow no more. I don't need that I don't need to be seeing that all the time. That was crazy over there. That was crazy. I ain't fooling you. I don't need to see that all the time, right? So don't be afraid to detach from it, for your growth. Your growth. All right. We appreciate y'all. Season 8 is in the books, y'all. I think it's a great book to read, right?
Yep.
So y'all go check out these episodes that have led us up to this point, right?
Yes.
Through season 8, it's been a beautiful season for myself. I'm sure it has for my co-host here. And just know, we're gonna be taking a few weeks off through the summer, rest and recuperate, so we can be ready for you in season 9.
that's right.
Yes.
Season 9, yeah.
Self-care, y'all.
Self-care. Y'all take care of yourself, yes. So, yeah, as we wrap up today's episode in this season, just remember that choosing, not choosing the right people, but surviving, which goes into it, I guess, some kind of way.
Some kind of way.
Right. Resilience is so important. Not just surviving, but growing through it, right? I remember that, and we've enjoyed this season with you again. I'm Joshua. You can find me at Joshua _ be impactful.
Yes, and I just want to add that resilience has no age. So a child can be resilient, an adult can be resilient, and even an elderly person can build some type of level of resilience. But you all can find me on Instagram at HannahElise2_.
Beautiful.
And you can find me at Terrence _Dawkins.
All right.
Y'all take care.
All right. Subscribe to Speaking with Gravity on YouTube and everywhere else. We'll see y'all next season.
All right.